Now let's see XML external entity attack in live action. So here in this lecture we'll see in the lab. So I found this wonderful lab for us to test. So you can simply go to this website, that is Pentester Lab, and it is inside this exercise. So after that we must go inside maybe web for Pentester. So this is our final website. So all you need to do is simply download this ISO file. Simply click here to download the file. I've already downloaded, so you can simply press OK to download this file. It will just give the link. You can start the download to the file, and after you download you'll just get this ISO file in the drive where you just stored this. So after that you have to first of all, okay, so let me just go here real quick. So after you just download that, all you get is the VirtualBox. We have already downloaded the VirtualBox from the previous couple of lectures. And now first of all you simply click on this new and give any name. So you can just give something like test2. So in my case I have already made the VirtualBox for this. So next one is the Linux over here. Type would be Linux, and it should be Debian 64 for me. So next, so simply give 1 GB. So 1 GB is enough for this. So you can simply give the something in MB2, something like 512 MB. So next, so I'll just create this. So next I want dynamically allocated. So next one will be 8 GB. So create. So after that you will just get this up and running here, but first you have to just load that ISO file. So simply go to the storage here in the storage and click on this empty and simply load from here. So in my case it would be web for pentester.iso. so I'll simply load this, and the next one is very important. You have to go in the network, so it should be here network, and simply press bridged adapter over here, otherwise it won't work. So if it would be NAT for you, then it is not going to work. So simply press bridge adapter, click OK, and simply press start. But I'll just remove this one because I have already made this. So when you just press this one and just show, or basically when you just press start, it would be start for you. I have show because I have already run over here. So you'll just get this window, and after it will load you have to press ifconfig to see your IP address. It should be something like this. So it should be 192.168, and the link, it will just give the IP address. So all you need to do is simply put here, that is ipconfig or ifconfig, not IP. It should be here. Let me show you ifconfig. When you just press that, you'll just get here, that is the IP address in this ETH0, or basically where you can simply see here. So this should be your IP address. Copy this IP. So you need to copy this IP address and go to your Windows or Mac or it can be Linux. Open the web browser, and in the web browser you can simply paste that IP address. When you hit enter, then you will just get this home page for Pentester Lab. So over here we have a bunch of exercises. You can see all the exercises that is we have already done, that can be the XSS attack. So you can also simply go to this example in the XSS, and you can see that in this field, because this is the parameter name, so you can see that it has injected the hacker. So if I just say Sachin, then it will say that hello Sachin over here. That means it has a reflection. That means it has reflected XSS. So simply put your simple payload here. So I'll just say script and alert, give 1 here, or any payload you want to load, and when I just press enter, then you will see that one was reflected over here. So this would be a couple of exercises you can test over here. But now we can see that is XML attacks over here. So we'll see XML external entity attack in this lecture. That means we'll just go to this XML attacks and simply press this example 1. So in this example you can see that we have a link and it has a parameter of XML. So let's inject something over here. So you can see it has injected some unique code over here or based on that XML code, because we know in the XML code the tag are user defined. It is not the predefined as the case of HTML. If it was HTML, you cannot make this test tag. It should be predefined, that is defined by the language itself. But in the case of XML, it can be user defined. So let's make other code over here. So let me just open my Sublime, and here I'll just go over here and let me just make a user defined code. So let me say Udemy, and I'll say hey and Udemy again. So this is your XML code. So let me just copy this, and instead of test you can paste your own link over here. So when I just press that, you could see this is changed to hello hey. So you can say something like Udemy again. When I just press enter, then you could see hello Udemy over here. So it has a reflection in this web content, but we can do something like the web, or basically use of some payload of the XML to extract some of the useful information. So let's make our own XML external entity attack code. So we'll just make our own payload now, and let me just open the Sublime again. So first I'll just make use of this doc type, and after that I'll make use of something like text. So it can be anything for you, so you can just put anything over here. So I'm just making a custom tag that is named with test, and I'll just open this entity tag, and after that I simply pass XCE, which is also the given the name for which this file will be stored. So we'll just make use of some system keyword. So I'll just tell you in a moment what this system is. So first of all, just let me put the file name real quick over here. So the file I want to extract from the server is its etc file or folder, and inside this etc I want to extract password. So this would be file, and after that I'll just close this entity, and let me just close again this one. After that I have to make my external entity, or basically the XML code. So let me simply make something like test. So I'll just make test. I want to inject this content of password into XXE file. So I have just stored over here, and let me just close this first, and after that I want to close my test. So you could see we have completed our payload over here. So the most important thing over here is this system keyword. So system keyword is the keyword that tells the XML parser that it want to fetch this file from the server. So we have already said in the theory section in the early lecture of this section that we want to extract something from the server or something from the remote or local file, then we make use of XML parser. So XML parser will see this system keyword, and it will just fetch this file, or basically the system file, and it will just store in this XE, and we'll see the content of this in the web content. So instead of this hello Udemy, we'll see the content. So instead of Udemy, not only hello was basically the predefined content of this page, so instead of Udemy we'll see the whole content of XXE over here, which is basically the content of the password inside this etc folder or etc folder. So let me just copy this. So this is our payload. So I'll just go to the browser. So now we have to first encode this. So in order to make encoding, I'll use something like encoder decoder. So let me just search for URL encoder decoder. Let me just go to this website, and here I'll just paste our payload, which is the same payload. I'll just encode this, and let me just copy this now. I'll just copy this, and instead of this file that we just injected, we want to inject the encoded URL. So I'll just put here encoded payload, and I'll just hit enter. Then you could see we just got this root SS. So this is the content. So from here, from this root to this is the content of that folder, or basically which is the folder or basically content of this password. So you can see that we have now printed the password content with the help of this system keyword that will tell the XML parser to just reflect this password field or basically the content of password in this browser. So you can see we have got successfully the password field or basically the content of password with this attack over here, which is XML external entity attack. So you can do something like in this payload, instead of password you can also get the host content. If you want the host content, then you will simply change that, copy that again, go to the URL encoder decoder, paste it here and encode this and copy this again, go back here. So instead of this you have to paste the new file or new content of the payload or encoded content basically, and if I just hit enter, it will be the content of this host. So you can see the server is running the localhost Debian, and this is the content of this host which is inside this etc folder. So you have successfully got the content of exe, which is basically giving the content of the remote file which is hosted in the server. With this content you can also access all the file system of the server with this simple attack which is named as XML external entity, which will tell the parser to fetch the system file system or basically to fetch the system file with this simple payload. So this is the type of the external XML entity. So we just got the attack here. We see the content of this password and we also see the content of this host. So you can also simply go to the next example and search for the XML attack, or basically you can also see some of the examples in this lab. So you can see for the XSS, make your own payload, execute that the XSS attack. You can see for this XML attack. So I'll see you in the next one.